All right, so we're recording now, Jake.
Okay. Just let that be the intro of you telling me we're starting.
Yeah. Anyway, well, welcome to the podcast. There's no name for it yet. We were actually deciding and couldn't come up with anything.
No, not in the slightest, and I definitely am not helping to that whatsoever.
But that's okay, because who needs a name for the podcast?
Anyone who wants this to be a consistent thing would probably be the...
Jake, the 5 people watching aren't going to care if this is a consistent thing.
In all fairness, friend, this could. I mean, the possibility exists. You can't deny that.
It does exist. That being said, welcome to the podcast.
Hey.
Hi.
It's great.
So...
It's not scuffed in the slightest whatsoever.
No, if you could see the setup, you would think this is a professional studio.
I thought it was when I came in. I thought it was great. You got like a whole separate building and everything.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Studio 7, completely reserved for this podcast.
I'm glad I was able to find my way, and it was a very long ways.
Yeah, the security guard, he can be an asshole.
Yeah, no, what was his name? Daryl?
Derek, I think.
Regardless, he's kind of a jerk.
Either way, I'm happy you found your way here. It's not like you've never been here before. So
no, not in the slightest. It's awesome.
Was the biggest concern.
Yeah.
I know it's not on Google Maps. But anyway, welcome to the show, Jake. This is Jake, by the way.
Hello.
I'm Drew, the studio head, I guess you can say it. Jake, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Jake. I'm one of the voice actors on these projects, I presume.
I presume.
I could be more, I could be less. But I am definitely Jake.
Not from State Farm.
No, please.
We couldn't afford that. But
dude, have you seen the new Jake?
No.
Oh, like the old Jake from State Farm is gone. They got a new Jake from State Farm.
How do you replace Jake from State Farm?
Okay, so hear me out. It was weird at first, but it's cool because in the commercial, they did like the old school commercial where the dude's like, "Oh yeah, you can really do that for me," and the wife comes downstairs. "Who are you talking to?" You know, they do the whole spiel again. But then it's like this new Jake, and it's this young black Jake. He's a pretty cute guy. Like, he's a cute guy. I can't lie. But then she's like, "What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?" And he goes, like a red shirt. And then he leans over and goes, "Do they always ask this?" And it's the old Jake from State Farm who peers around the corner of the desk and goes, "Happens all the time." And I thought that it was a beautiful way to introduce the new Jake.
Passing the torch. I get it.
I loved it so much. It was as a Jake when my mother worked at State Farm.
Oh my goodness.
It was the way to go.
It's funny you bring up working at State Farm, because that's actually how we met Jake. Not working at State Farm, but working somewhere else.
No.
Wasn't the best line of work. Not saying we were prostitutes.
But I mean, that would have been more fun.
Fun, yes.
Yes.
But we had fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we worked at a movie theater. Not going to say which movie theater.
No.
Because good people still work there, for the most part. There are some, not going to name names, who...
Trash.
Like any workplace.
It's
you have
atypical.
You have those kinds of people. But, yeah. So that's where me and Jake met.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike normal friends where you meet, like, in high school.
Or you yell at each other across the street and you go, "Hey, you're kind of a jerk." And you reply with, "Yeah, but so are you." And then you're best friends.
Yeah, nothing like that.
No.
It was more along the lines of, "Hey, how's it going? I'm Drew. Hey, Drew, you're not a bad worker. Let's be friends." There you go.
Well, it's not far from the truth in any way, shape, or form. It's
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Jake. I always wondered, like, what made you? Why was I so special to you? Like, I worked there.
Bare bone basics. You did your job, and you didn't piss me off within like the first few weeks of your time there, and it meant the world to me personally, because I don't like people who don't do their job or piss me off and annoy me. You're quiet. You did your stuff, and I was like, this guy's cool. We're gonna be friends.
All right, I'm happy I met the prerequisites there,
Yeah,
Jake.
yeah.
Me being the antisocial elite I am, I wanted friends.
Antisocial elite.
Like, if there was a trophy for being a closed off person,
You have
I might actually win something in life, you know?
That's fair.
Yeah. Anyway, now, working with you was fun.
It most certainly was an enjoyable experience.
Because at the movie theater, you know, there's many things you can do. It's not just selling popcorn, contrary to popular.
Believe it or not.
Believe it or not, there's more than popcorn. There's Skittles, fucking
Nachos.
Sour Patch Kids.
There was, we had a Sloppy Joe once that we
Did
sold.
you?
We used to sell, what was it? We had, I feel like there was a time, we sold cheesy breadsticks at the same time as we were selling cheese sticks. Now, I'm fully aware the mozzarella sticks and like cheesy breadsticks are a different thing, but they're essentially the same thing by Regal standards. It made no sense in my personal opinion to sell both and be like, yep, this is $1 more.
Imagine like being a Karen, and you're like, not knowing the name of the product, just knowing what it looks like, and you're like, I want the cheese bread thing, and you're like, okay, do you want the mozzarella sticks or what was it? The cheese? What was it?
Cheesy breadsticks.
Cheesy
or
breadsticks.
Mozzarella sticks, yeah.
And you're like, well, they're kind of the same. And she's like, well, what's the difference? Well, one's cheesy breadsticks, one's cheese inside a breadstick.
That's what I'm saying.
She's like, no, I just want the mozzarella sticks. And then she's going to get it, and she's going to come back, and it's your fault because she wanted the cheesy breadsticks.
It's always your fault. That's a Karen.
Well, even with Karens.
No.
Without Karens, it's not.
I mean, I guess.
Like, do you know how many times it's been my fault, even though it's not my fault? From just normal people.
Yeah.
Normal people. There was that French... Were you there for the French family?
Was this during our...
Time as managers?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, then no.
Okay.
Because we would never work the same times when we were both managers, dude.
Well, yeah, but sometimes you get mid, and I get...
I suppose, but still, regardless, go on.
Anyway, so yeah, there was this... I was a manager at one point, believe it or not. So was Jake.
Yes.
And...
Same time.
Yeah, crazy. And I get a call like, hey, we need a manager to concessions. And I'm like, guys, it's like 9 o'clock. We close in an hour. Come on. And I get up there, and it's a French family. Like, I can't speak French. But that's what they sound like because they were mad. They were yelling in French. And I'm like, hey, what's the problem? And they're like, we just want an extra bucket for our large popcorn. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I can give you a box. Because here's how it works. When you buy a large popcorn, you're entitled to a free refill.
Yes.
But that being said, I can't give you another bucket. Because the way the movie system works, the theater system works, is the bucket is what's $9, not the popcorn. So it comes out of inventory. And I try to explain to them, look, I can't give you a bucket because it's a loss in our inventory, if that makes sense. And they just want to have it. And they try to take the bucket from like, because you know how you have the bucket set up at the register. They try to take one off, and I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. And they're making a scene, and I'm trying to explain to them, look, it's the same thing if you get the box. Just I'm not giving you a bucket because you have to pay for it. And this guy in the other line, he's just an enabler. He's like, well, I'll get them a bucket. It's what, 25 cents? And I'm like, it's $9.17. He's like, well, it costs you 25 cents to make. And I'm like, have you taken any business class ever? There's this thing called production cost, and then like, you know, your profit margin. And because movie theaters make no money from ticket sales, their profit comes from concessions.
Do a percentage of ticket sales.
So they French people don't like me.
No. I wonder why. Regardless, going back to the box that we offer people in scenarios like that, the box is actually like significantly larger and holds more than a large popcorn would. Like, you could probably put a whole tub in the box
and more.
and then like a medium quote unquote size version of whatever bag they have, and it would be the same. But people are always burnt about it. Like the box literally holds more.
Just because the box doesn't have fancy popcorn designs
On the side of it, they don't have popcorn decals.
Just because it's a cardboard box that's unappealing, they're like, this sucks. But it's like going
It
to...
has the logo down the side of it.
Yeah, but like it's not yellow. There's not pretty pictures on it.
I can't tell what's butter and what's the tub.
You know, it's in the same vein of like Beats by Dre, right?
Yeah.
Heavily marketed headphones. I've had some, but the build quality just sucks.
Do they?
Yeah, like they just disintegrate after a year.
Huh.
But
I've never personally had any like big stuff like that. I've always had like skull candies.
Skull candies are fine.
Yeah.
But like the problem with Beats by Dre is they spend so much money on marketing that the money they put into like build quality and build testing and all that stuff
is awful.
Not where it needs to be.
I feel like that's also an issue with a lot of products like that. It's always the here and now, never the lasting quality. So they'll like, if we use like, excuse me, the headphones for example, you have the test, they put it on, they go, sounds great, and they take it off and then start marketing it. It's never like, what is this going to be like in a month, 2 months time, you know?
Yeah, quality.
Just as an example, you know, obviously there's more things that you could apply that into, but by example, that seems like how it goes for a lot of things.
Yeah, quality control for... I can't wait to get sued for defamation. In my experience, quality control with Beats by Dre just isn't there.
Okay. I mean, but the quality of the item and its use is still it's still pretty good though, right?
The sound quality is pretty good. It's not
just
the
best.
lasting. It's just like,
well, nothing's perfect.
You know how you buy products aren't designed to last forever.
Mm-hmm.
So you buy them more often. You keep giving them money.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was what they're doing unintentionally. Like Apple.
Yes.
I feel like they do it intentionally. You know, a new phone comes out, your phone just starts having aneurysms.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Even if that's a joke, I love it. Just the concept of that being a possibility is so funny to me.
It reminds me of like the Mom Corps from Futurama.
I haven't seen Futurama. Forgive me.
All right, that's.
But please explain it.
Mom Corp is like a parody of Apple.
Okay.
And it's run by this old woman, whose like facade is this nice old lady, like this grandma, but behind the scenes she's like this cruel, despicable woman who like talks shit about all her customers.
Jerk.
I'm not gonna say like us when we were managers.
Oh.
But you know.
But me.
Yeah, guys, I don't want it to be a secret. Not all of you, but most of you, staff at movie theaters just hate. And it's not your fault. It really isn't.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, there's
malice.
A ton of malice.
And at least for our theater standards, a lot of the people there are incredibly hateful people. Like, I'm a hateful person, and they held grudges longer than I did. Like if a guest got mad at me for like no good reason, I'd probably be ticked off for like maybe the rest of the day, you know, because I still hold grudges. I'm, like I said, no one's perfect. But then like the next day I'd be like, oh, whatever, you know, it sucks. But these people will be like 5 months down the line, like, so and so did this, so I hate them. And I'm like, what? Why? We're so past that. They don't even work here anymore. Let it go.
No, definitely. It might have been our theater alone, like exclusively. There was a lot of ill will.
There's a lot of elitists.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the issue. But also I feel like that is an extent kind of our fault. Because we had like the OG fam, and we were like, oh, you'll, like, people were like, oh, I gotta amount to that. And when they never did, it was like, oh, well, if I can't be that, I'm just not good enough. And then they held that same mindset and projected it to newer people, and it was like, we didn't mean it in a spiteful way.
This is how you took it.
That's how they took it, and how they continued to spread it down the chain. Like, I never, like, when I was like talking about you or one of my closer friends being like, oh, they're like the best I've ever seen in this area, they're always like, oh, well, maybe I could strive to do that. And I'll be like, no, you can't. Like, no offense, but they cared about their job and they worked so hard to be the best in this area. Now, if you want to go for it, be my guest. I'm not going to stop you, and I'll help you. But don't anticipate on being that.
Wow, Jake, I never knew that about you. Because when people would tell me that, they're like, oh, I want to, I remember this guy was a great usher, and I want to be a good usher like him. And I'm like, in the back of my mind, depending on the person, it's not good to assume, but I'd assume anyway. It's like, no.
They're not going to do it.
But what came out of my mouth was like, if that's what you want, go for it.
Follow your dreams.
If, the only thing that's holding you back is how hard you want to work. If you really want this, go for it. And if you work hard enough, you'll get it.
That was like a cheeky little burn right there. Like, if you don't want it, or if you're not going to work towards it because you're not.
Well, that's real.
You're not going to get there.
That's real, Jake. You don't get stuff by just saying, oh, I want it. And it doesn't get handed to you.
No, that's fair.
Like, you worked there for 2 years before you got manager.
Sadly.
Yeah. And I worked there almost 7 months collectively.
Yeah, because you did dip a few months
quit,
in.
And then I came back and I'm like, hey guys, did you miss me?
I did.
Well, it was more along the lines of, please say you did because I want my
back.
job back. Yeah. Dude, you remember, I'm not going to name names, but we had a manager at one point. This was before we became managers.
Obviously.
Who looked like fucking Legion from Rainbow Six.
I know, yeah.
And we showed up to a staff meeting. And usually...
He was in dad shorts.
He was in cargo shorts with sandals.
He was Legion.
And I'm like, damn.
I should need a toothpick
I didn't realize this guy was a fucking cosplayer. Because he was only missing the Hawaiian shirt.
And then the toothpick.
And then the helmet that looks...
It was pretty spot on. Now, I love him.
He's a good guy.
I have no disrespect towards him. But, like, he was one of the people who was consistently happy all the time, even acting like happy.
I couldn't take that.
It irritated the living hell out of me, but he would do it around me more often than not, specifically to try and, like, make me laugh or smile. And I'm like, dude, stop. I hate it. And he just did it to bother me after a while.
You can respect someone who willingly shows up to work trying to be happy. Because that's what he did.
No, and in that standpoint, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But like,
I couldn't be asked. I showed up to work and I'm like, guys, end me. And that was like the whole, I don't know if it was just our theater, but that was the whole mindset. Everyone except like maybe 2 people.
Yeah.
Who were kind of, not to be rude, but off kilter a little bit.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, easily.
And they were always happy. And I'm like, guys.
I don't know how.
I can't tell if you're like just a good person or if you're like the next Michael Myers. Because like, this is not normal.
They're just going to don the mask one day and come in to work. They're going to pick up our popcorn scoop and use it to get our guests. Whenever they complain about popcorn.
Bury the soup into some guest's skull. It's like, enjoy the film. Yeah.
You want butter on that? Pick up a butter machine and just dump it on.
Like 100-degree fucking 3rd-degree butter burns.
Dude, Burns. Speaking of Burns,
Mr. Burns?
The popper.
Okay.
Regardless, I've like been burned by the popper. Obviously, the popper is the machine that in which makes popcorn. The popcorn. But I've been burned by it once or twice, and it's like, oh, ow, damn, not gonna do that again. There's legitimate staff, like one of our mutual friends, who has a whole scar like down her arm. It baffles me. I knew it burned and it hurts, but like, who does that? And when and I don't want to disrespect her. I love her to death. She's one of my favorite people. But
situational awareness is lacking. Jake,
that and correct me if I'm wrong, but the skin, you would have to have contact for a good chunk of time before it's scarred.
Well, I think it depends on where you get burned, because I've been burned on my knuckles.
Yes, as have I.
And the skin is tougher because it's a point of flex. I don't You know what I mean?
I understand.
Like a knuckle is more coarse than like your inner forearm.
That's fair.
So I guess because your inner forearm is like more
it's
smooth,
softer, you would think maybe just like a little tap would do it.
Yeah, because like your knuckle has like, not to sound like Shrek, but layers. You know, if you open your hand like this, this skin is
it's tougher,
rolled on itself, kind of. Your forearm though is just like bare.
Layers.
But fuck that popper, dude.
We named our poppers.
I remember it was Godzilla,
Wally, and Zombie.
It
was.
We didn't really use Wally that much.
Wally and Zombie. Zombie after a while just became
a fucking zombie.
Like Cheeto popcorn holder. We didn't even make anything in it. We just put the popcorn, Cheetos
dude.
popcorn.
You made me remember that one guy who, okay, so we had VIP booths at our theater.
Ugh,
and basically people at the casino that our theater was housed in would bring guests who had points on their casino cards and redeem them to get VIP rooms, which are separate from the theaters. It's the same theater, but it's like a room.
It is a section entirely separately owned.
It has like its own air conditioning, its own lighting, its own seats.
And the VIP section was controlled entirely by
the casino.
Who A, didn't know how to run movie theater stuff, and B, refused to allow us to have access into those areas to do it ourselves.
Yeah. So that being said, usually when the VIPs would come, they'd be hosted by someone who works at the casino. And that being said, they'd have a card with all the stuff they wanted, like the popcorn, the drinks, the candy, and they'd redeem it all through the casino. This one guy would come almost bi-weekly and be like, "Hey guys, I'm in the VIP booth. Can I get some free Cheetos popcorn?"
He was always trying to bum free stuff.
And dude, okay, I'm down to help people in need, but when this guy dresses up with a fucking satchel, that's
like
where I draw
businessman.
the line. That's where I draw the line.
Like always in a decent outfit, like suit. If he didn't have the suit, he came in one time and he was wearing like nice like button-up shirt.
It's either business casual or like high-end casual.
Yeah.
And I'm not. You're not gonna play me like that.
No, absolutely not.
And it got. None of the staff knew. Like, we tried to tell them, but they're like, I'm just not gonna deal with it. If you want free popcorn, whatever.
I can understand not wanting to deal with it.
But it's the principle, Jake.
It is the principle of the matter.
Because
I wouldn't. If I was still floor staff at the time, I would have been like, no, go away.
Yeah.
Like, show me like a receipt. And we also don't even do like Cheetos popcorn like that. Like, there's no refills on there.
First of all, not even no refills. But just because you're in the VIP booth doesn't mean you get anything for free.
No, not in the slightest.
It's all redeemed through your casino card.
And they have
special tickets.
Room service.
Yeah.
There's room service people who come down and get their stuff for them.
Yeah, it's not like you have to come down here and get it. Your host will get you everything. And it just pissed me off because I'm like, you guys are not putting two and two together. This guy does not work.
No.
Or he's not with the VIPs.
Don't worry about it. It'll be on my card later.
And then the best part is the door to the VIP booths was right next to the ticket taker.
Yes.
And you'd go in that door, go up an elevator, and then you'd have access to theaters 16 through 14 and 1 through 3. So the first 6 theaters of the theater.
Which were our largest.
Yes. And that being said, not only was the upstairs...
No, yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Not only was upstairs access for the VIP rooms, but it was access for handicap seats that wanted to sit higher in the theater.
Yes.
And there's no locks on those doors for obvious reasons. So what he'd do is he'd tell the person at the ticket taker, he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm with the VIP booth." He'd go up there and just walk through that handicap entrance and just get a free movie.
And mind you, it's those handicap seats were there just because our theaters are so large. There wasn't a whole lot of handicap space, so they added like 2-3 seats in the corner of like each of the larger theaters that people just walk on through. And it was handicapped because there was an elevator that led you to the upstairs sections. Yes. So if you were like wheelchair bound, you could take the elevator up and then just immediately have those seats without doing any stairs whatsoever.
So it's a good idea, but if no one's there to reinforce it, you're losing business.
He bamboozled a lot of people, dude.
I mean, no offense to the people that were at the ticket takers.
And we love them.
We
all
do,
to their
but
own extent.
there's a reason they're taking tickets.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Being the ticket taker, you're either just good enough to trust on like busy days, but if you weren't there on one of the busy days,
You're there because there's nowhere else to put you.
You either were awful or it was a punishment.
I only, out of 7 months before getting management, I was only at Dork twice.
That's fair.
And it was from what our manager said, the scheduling manager. She's like, "You've never done it, so try it out."
Yeah, you gotta get everyone there at once so we know how strong they are there.
And I did it, and I'm like,
it sucks.
Stupid.
Because when I was floor staff, the thing I did for most of the time was the TC, a theater checker. So like it was my job to go in probably 30 minutes after the listed showtime, make sure the movie's running, make sure everyone's like in their seat, no one's being too rambunctious, as it's were.
Causing disturbance.
and you would do that 2 more times every 30 minutes. And you just go in, see what's up, make sure everything's going smooth, and then you go back. When during TC's time, you had to break the person ripping tickets and sit there for 30 minutes. It was always like hell for me because I had to talk to people, I had to be nice to them, I had to be friendly, and I just spent the first 2-3 hours of my shift just being like angry, sad, alone.
That we have to.
As like, and I prefer it that way, mind you. I prefer to be by myself, but like now I have to go deal with guests. And granted, like, yeah, looking back on it now, it's not the end of the world. But when you're sitting there doing nothing but ripping tickets, especially on slow days, it sucks. It's not fun.
No, man.
I've had my fair share of being there during the busy days, like when we would have screenings. Oh my god, don't get me started on screenings, dude.
I had never had to be TC.
It's hell because the representative for the screenings,
they never know what they're doing.
They never help us out, the theater. It's like we have one area for everyone to line up, and sometimes there's like a VIP line for a screening
for like 6 different people.
For like 6 people, if that. Let's be real.
Yeah.
And they would always put them in such horrendous ways to where it would block casual guests coming into
literally
our theater.
If there was a screening that day, you could not enter and exit the theater at the same time.
No.
If people were coming out, you had to wait because there were 3 lines almost to get into the movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
there was the standard,
the VIP, and then people just waiting for the movie
for their own movie.
Yeah, for like the ushers to finish cleaning it. So at points there would just be lines. And you couldn't get... It was like walking through a horde of zombies, dude. You couldn't fucking do it.
Yeah, and they're all stupid enough and acted like them.
Like, it's like, look, we have things designated. Granted, it wasn't done by the representative. We had to do it. We had to micromanage everything.
To an extent, I get it. Like,
it's our building. I understand. But this is your screening. This is your event.
You're the representative. And especially on everyone's goddamn tickets, it says... You're going to check in with your representative.
Yeah, so...
And they come up to us. Are we the representative? No, it says screening representative. If anything, I'm a theater representative. There's a difference.
Yeah. Anyway, and then you get hit...
at me.
You get hit with the questions. And granted, it's okay. People are curious, naturally. They have questions, no problem. But when you get hit with the same question, the same wording, the same inflection on the words, every 2 minutes... They could be 3 feet behind you. You answer the question in front of them, and they'll still ask you. And I'm like, did you not just hear me?
My issue with that is the answer to the majority of their questions are on the tickets they should have in their hands.
Not that question.
The majority of them.
Not that question. I'm talking about the question where everyone who's not there for the screening.
Oh, what's this?
What's
the screening?
What's this going on?
What's the line for?
And I'm like, shut up.
See, my least favorite thing about that is I'm a firm believer in mind your business.
Yeah, for real.
So if I'm going to the theater and I'm like, I got my day, we're going in, I'm not going to be like, oh, what's this line for? I'm going to be like, oh, no, here's the guy taking the tickets. Thank you. Have a night. Theater 10? All right. Have a good day. And I leave.
Exactly. You're there for one thing.
I'm there for my stuff.
You're there to watch your movie. And you know what that means? Buy your ticket, buy your fucking popcorn and go watch the fucking movie.
Go to the damn theater. Don't, what's this for? And then sit there at my podium for an extra 5 minutes holding up a
blocking
line
more
who
of
are
the space.
all going to ask the same question.
You can tell how long we've dealt with it.
Livid is an understatement.
The first time it was stressful because you didn't know what was going on. But the more it progressed, the more it went from stress that was tangible to just frustration that built up.
I always felt bad for more of our shy employees who had to deal with that, because you could see
the fear.
You could see them break down a little bit, and as like, even before being a manager, like just being one of like the higher up staff members, it hurt me kind of, because it's like, oh, I know what that's like, and I can help them, but right now it's like, I got, theaters to clean, I got theaters to check, I can't be up there holding their hand all day.
Yeah. The worst part about that is though, the theater is pretty much full at that point. Yeah. And if it's not like the theater is full whenever a big movie comes out, but a big movie didn't come out, so it's just for 4 hours the theater is packed. I am so thankful the fire alarm never went off.
I never thought about that. That is a horrific tragedy.
Because the fire alarm is touchy.
Yeah.
You vent something the wrong way and the whole building thinks it's going to explode. Which, granted, fair enough, safety is a priority. But when you have 16-year-olds working, accidents are bound to happen.
And when you have staff or guest members who
want to hotbox your bathroom
underneath a fire alarm, being idiots and getting damn near to set that off.
Here's the thing, though. I'm amazed that like 90% of the fire alarms weren't our fault.
Yeah.
That being said,
there's been staff members, not naming names, but fairly recently before we closed, who literally burnt the world's worst batch of popcorn.
Oh my! I wanted to throw them into the.
Just by your descriptions of it, I was mad.
I'm like, how? How the fuck did you do this?
It was pretty bad.
It was,
because they didn't even clean it up.
They didn't.
Another
the
friend of
closers
ours
had to do it,
and I had to clean it. I took a scraper to it, and it was so caked on there. It took me ages to like properly scrape it off.
No, dude, and like it became a whole thing because not only did we have to evacuate the guests didn't want to leave.
No, never.
And I'm just like, how fucking stupid are you? I'm coming in here telling you, hey, there's an emergency. I'm gonna have to evacuate you out of the theater, and you're like, is the building on fire? And you're not getting up. You're just sitting there kind of like questioning me like I'm lying to you for whatever reason.
Like, no, I'm coming in risking the potential of my job just for
like,
this quick little job.
Not only am I risking the potential for my job, but if there is an emergency, I'm risking my life.
Staying in here
to get you out of there. And you have the audacity, the willingness to just sit there munching on your popcorn like, oh, what's the problem? See, again, Jake, that ties back to just minding your own fucking business. What you're supposed to do, you're like, okay, thank you. Let me exit the theater through the way you told me to exit. Because I showed up there, professional. I said, hey guys, sorry, there's an emergency. I'm gonna have you walk this way, in a calm manner out of the theater. Because I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. Because we don't know the proper severity of it, but it was
enough.
It was a scenario where our fire system is not connected to the casinos that our building's a part of. The casinos are a part of ours. So if the casinos are going off, ours get triggered
automatically.
But if ours go off, the casinos doesn't. So when the casinos is going off, that's an entire casino where there could be a fire starting, and we may not experience or even know about the fire's proper location for like 2 hours. So get the hell out. It could be raging on the other side of the casino, but it's still a fire.
I'm here to watch fucking Tenet.
I'm gonna see Tenet. I mean, Tenet's great.
It is a fantastic. I loved it, but I'm not gonna die
for a movie.
For a movie, no.
He's like, don't worry, I'm gonna learn how to time travel by watching Tenet.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Just gonna walk backwards, and the fire won't matter.
The only reason I die for Robert Pattinson is watching The Lighthouse in theaters. That's it.
Oh, such a good movie.
Phenomenal.
It's weird, but it was so good.
It was fantastic.
I loved it. I still preach it to this day because Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe,
underrated.
like chef's kiss,
gems.
Yeah.
Utter gems. The speeches they made, both of them, just
I can't ever like forget about them just like in
going
the
off on
trailer.
each other.
What?
What?
What? What?
What?
What?
What? That's what's wrong with you. That's what's wrong with ye. With you. With ye. No. Oh my god, dude.
It's so good.
If you have not seen The Lighthouse, I'm not gonna spoil it,
What? I loved it.
but you'll like it.
It's an
You'll appreciate
experience.
it is, and you'll come out with a new appreciation for the culinary talent Willem Dafoe has in making lobster.
You don't like me lobster.
You're fond of me lobster. All right, we're gonna. For those of you that have seen it, you know.
Lobster.
But for those of you that haven't, watch the fucking movie.
Damn ye lobster.
I ain't got nothing to say. Anyway, yeah, fire alarms suck. Because like you said, if the casino's fire alarm goes off, ours go off.
Yeah.
And that means evacuate the whole building. You got like 400 guests that are all attacking you because you're the manager. You have a cool shirt.
You got a cool shirt and a silver name tag.
They're like, whoa, I want my money back. And it's like, okay, fair enough. But you don't got to be rude about it.
Yeah, but you also don't. You don't have to be a dick about it.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you could wait until the fire alarm is off. You
come back.
You're supposed to keep your tickets and/or your receipts. So if you come back, we have timestamps on it. If your movie is in the time of the fire alarm, we know it's
we'll
you.
happily reimburse you.
Like, it's not that deep.
But like, people are just zero empathy.
No.
And I don't know if it was just the location of our theater with severe entitlement issues.
Yeah.
But
on top of that, and I'm not trying to flame the casino for it, but their communication with us was never the best.
We'd have guests request a wheelchair because they have like leg problems. It'd be 40 minutes before the casino gets them a wheelchair, and then the guests point their anger at us.
Yeah.
Like it's our fault.
Also, we never had contact with casinos, like medical team.
No.
I guess would be the better way to put it. We would have to call the security
to get them to call the medical team.
The medical team to bring this stuff out. But then, when you ask for a wheelchair, it's not even the medical team that brings it.
It's the security.
So sometimes they can't properly help the person because they don't have like medical clearance.
Yeah, they don't have a license to do it.
So then you would have to wait for the damn medical team to show up afterwards.
And then let's think of it.
Maybe the medical team's busy.
Put yourself in the guest shoes. You're old, and you're like Mr. Jenkins, and your legs don't work like they used to no more. So you request a wheelchair.
Can I get a wheelchair, sir?
And it's a casino, so they'll happily oblige you.
Thank you.
But your movie's been over for 20 minutes. You made your request 20 minutes ago.
If I could feel my legs, they would hurt.
If I could feel my legs, they'd be kicking your ass. But anyway, so it's been 20 fucking minutes. Nothing. You ask one of us, and one of us don't know the answer.
Because there's no communication.
We're like, it's on its way. And for you, you're like, that doesn't do anything for me because it doesn't. And then 20 more minutes, it's been 40 minutes. The next movie's about to start already. And now you get someone to come in with a wheelchair.
And in the middle of this movie starting.
Middle of the trailers. And then
the
they tell you, I can't move you because I don't have a medical license. So I got to get the medical team to come over here and get you. And then it's a casino. Alcohol poisoning's a thing. You know, people.
Oh, yeah.
People get in fights, whatever it may be. Medical team is pretty much busy all the time.
They're busy, and I'm not blaming them.
It's not their fault.
It's not security's fault either. It's just the lack of communication that's the issue.
Yes.
Like, how much easier would it be for me to call up medical and be like, listen, there's a gentleman.
He needs a wheelchair for X, Y, and Z.
He might have issues that are relatively severe, like above my pay grade, for lack of a better term.
Well, regardless, we can't touch them.
Yeah, but, I mean, you know, if someone's like busted down on the floor, I'm not going to let them sit there, you know.
That's when the ambulance.
I'm going to still help them.
That's when the ambulance gets called, Jake.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna let them sit there for another 40 fucking minutes.
You want it? I mean,
I'm just saying. There's been a few times where I've personally have kind of broke that rule,
here's the thing.
but still,
I wouldn't mind
Communications.
breaking that rule if I knew our guests weren't the entitled, like, pieces of shit they are. To the point where you can do something nice for a guest like that,
and they'll hate you for it.
and they will get livid
Yeah.
for no reason. You can, like, hold the door open for them, and you're like, and they're, okay, let's say someone's
So I can't do it myself.
someone's trying to open the door, and you see this, and you run over to them, and you're like, here you go. I opened it for you.
Yeah.
They'll be mad at you because you didn't do it fast enough.
It's like your hands are full. You got a kid in one hand. You got like a popcorn and several drinks in the other hand. Like
You can put something down.
I mean, yeah. Put
Like,
the kid down. You don't need it. You can make
He's
another.
6 years old.
Yeah.
You know?
Get that shit out of a wheelchair or the strollers. That's what it is.
And it's like, you try to be nice to people, but they just don't care. And that's why my favorite part about working at Regal, my favorite part about working there was doing stock. And that's how me and Jake became close friends.
Like, Drew, I love you. You're like one of my best boys.
Oh boy, here. But
No.
oh,
It's just it took us a good bit
to get there.
Get close. It wasn't like
Hey.
I was like standoffish of you. It's just there was never really a time where like we were kind of
hung out.
forced together and we hung out. So like doing stock together, oh my god, that was memories. It was so good.
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday for like probably 10 weeks in a row.
It was fantastic for a number of reasons. One, the casino offered senior Wednesdays.
Ugh.
So every Wednesday from till 4 p.m., seniors get discounted tickets, like $4. Really good deal.
Mind you, this is still the entitled area we are talking about.
This is a wealthy area.
They have enough money to pay full price for a ticket.
Yes. And, they feel like they're this king because they have, a Porsche Boxster, which is like the lowest end Porsche. You know what I mean?
But it's a Porsche. It's more than I got.
For real. Granted, I would love a Porsche Boxster, but I'm not going to pretend like I'm high and mighty.
I'm not going to flex a Porsche Boxster.
It'd be like a 2000 model because I can't afford.
Can't do modern.
It's fine, though. Mechanical is good. Anyway, so they'd come and oh my God. They'd come in like pairs or groups of like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And they'd order everything separately.
Oh, that's the worst.
And then, no offense to old people, I get it.
Full offense, I hate you all.
But they're slower.
Yes.
And they don't quite know what they want. And they have a habit of not reading the menu until they get to you.
Yeah.
And it's like you spent 7 minutes in line talking to your homegirls, which whatever, cool. But now you want to spend 5 minutes up here deciding if you want a small popcorn, a medium popcorn with layered butter, popcorn with extra butter, if you want fucking, what are the mints called?
Thin mints? Junior mints.
Junior mints, if you want junior mints or lifesavers, if you want a
Raisinets.
if you want a medium Diet Coke.
We sold out of Raisinets almost every Wednesday.
I know. If you want a medium Diet Coke, if you want just a cup of water, it's like, I cannot. And then they order one thing at a time. Yeah. So if you do go to a movie theater, please be the kind person that says, I want this, 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 and this, and that's it.
Because the majority of the time, and I could say this wholeheartedly, for the majority of movie theaters, the majority of the staff are going to want
and appreciate it
that you have that you want, and then they got little buttons on their POS system and just be like boop 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 boop. All right, now I have a whole list of what you want. Now let me be while I go get it.
Yeah, you guys
just go get it.
It'll take 30 seconds, or it'll take a minute maximum for me to get everything on this list. I could have people walk by and see that this is on here, and they could do that for me.
Yeah.
But if you're the kind of person that's like, oh, I want a medium popcorn. So you take the 45 seconds to get the medium popcorn. That's 45 seconds already. And you're like, oh, I want a small Diet Coke. We have buttons for each size of the drink, so it automates it.
And worst case scenario, if it overflows, which
we wipe it off
few and far between, we wipe it off. I'm not going to hand you syrup-covered
I want
cup.
I want it.
No,
some of our staff would.
Well, they're degenerates, and I get on their case for it.
Fair point. Anyway, though, you see how that dramatically increases the time it takes to get your stuff to you.
It's you want a medium popcorn? Would you like butter on that? Cool. Go get that. Oh, come back. Oh, you would like an icy, which is right next to the butter machine that I could have gone at the same time.
Or I
as
could have
your
delegated
popcorn.
to someone else who's not busy right now.
Granted, it's not like the end all be all if that happens. However, when
you
it's
do that
busy,
400 times a day.
400 times a day, each guest doing it probably 3 to 4 times because there's several items besides just popcorn and drink.
There's candy.
Like, come
there's
on.
food items. There's...
And I still don't know to this day. You're going to a damn theater.
Why are you getting food?
You're going to get a drink. You're going to get popcorn. Why do you not already know which drink and what size popcorn? Like, is that not... Like, I go to the theater myself personally.
With a mindset.
And I'm like, oh, I'm going to get like a medium popcorn, maybe a large drink, and...
That's it.
Sprite. Cool. Call it a day. And then I go up to the stand and I tell the guest or the staff what I want.
And they get it for you.
Quick and easy.
Do you know what? Okay, we have food items, right? Like chicken sandwiches, hamburgers, chicken tenders. And, okay, at a theater that's in its own location, you know, with no other food courts or whatever around, I get it. You're hungry, you want something to munch on that's not popcorn. Okay. But we worked in a casino where there was a food court 15 feet from the entrance to our theater. And this food court had good food. You know, there was a Rubio's, there's a Panda Express,
Panda.
Fat Burger, tropical smoothie.
There was Ben & Jerry's ice cream,
And
and right next to that was Starbucks.
There was an Auntie Anne's
yeah,
next to our theater.
across we
And they're
waved to the Annie Ann's girls, and
And
it was
they-
like, "Hey, how's it going?"
And they, guests, would order a
Pretzel with us.
with us, which sucks ass. The pretzel we make, the pretzel bites as well,
Mind you,
suck.
because we have no proper
Equipment to do this.
to cook pretzels.
It's all frozen.
Most of the time when we do it, it's like, oh, put it in the oven for X amount of time. After that X amount of time, it's still cold on the inside most of the time. Like
You have to check. You have
I
to
always
know.
had to throw like an extra 2 or 3 on and stab through it with like
I just put my finger,
tongs
and if it burned me, I'm like, oh, this is hot enough.
and throw it away.
No, but like, first of all,
Well,
a
see, I
pretz-
use the tongs because I was gonna eat it.
Oh, fair enough. Anyway, well, I wore a glove, obviously, with my finger, not.
You're just gonna like lick
Yeah.
your finger and touch it
No,
and be
no.
like, "Ooh, it
But,
feels
like,
a little
first of
hot,
all-
a little spicy."
You're paying like $2 more for our pretzel.
Yeah.
The quality is like a 2 out of 10 of our pretzel.
And you go to Annie Ann's, $2 left, you get like,
You can get a whole ass drink from Auntie Anne's. Pretzel drink for $6.
as where ours were like 5
and 7.
2.
Our pretzels were like $5.60, and then our large drinks, our medium drinks were like $7.
Ridiculous.
So you're paying $12 for something of lesser quality than if you just went to Auntie Anne's and paid the same cost.
Also, stop talking about prices being expensive.
We know.
We know.
There's nothing we could do.
We sell people this all day. Do you know how guilty I feel
When a
doing
little
that sometimes?
when a little kid has like $4, and like,
Yeah,
what can
and
I
they're
get?
like,
And I'm like, fucking nothing.
Like, there is not a single, like, you have to have $5 and some tax minimum to
candy.
get candy. And I felt like we don't feel good about it. We don't get off to this.
You act like we jerk
There's
off
like
to
some
the
people
idea
who are
of
like,
just-
"Yo, you're trying to sell me something that's $10." It's like,
No.
no.
I just
you
work
came
here,
and
dude.
asked. I don't care.
common
I'm
myth.
not making commission off of this.
Common myth, by the way. You can absolutely bring stuff into the theater. Like
For ours,
for
I don't want to say that for everyone because
okay.
there's still stories of
Let me tell you something
some theaters taking it up the butt.
I learned from working at movie theaters.
Okay.
One, I say movie theaters, but one. A lot of the time, the people working there are socially awkward,
Mm-hmm.
have severe anxiety, which is fine. You know, everyone has their own problems.
Yeah.
That being said, though, I've seen it happen, and it pisses me off. You can walk all over them.
Oh yeah.
So if you bring food in like your purse or something, nothing's gonna happen.
They're gonna look by it because they're afraid of confrontation, which
I can relate.
It's not inherently like an awful thing, but it's a little upsetting to have that rule in certain scenarios, not even just the bringing food in, but for them to have or to back down at almost any interval, like going back to the Cheetos popcorn guy for the VIP. He got away with that because we would always go after the staff who were too shy to say no, or who maybe didn't think about it enough to know that this isn't the right thing to be doing. Granted, it's not the end all be all, but still, the rules are there for a reason. And to an extent, yes, doing shit like that, you can make someone lose their job after a while.
Here's the thing. That was always a problem for me, is the company we worked for were always with the customer.
Yeah.
That if you tried to defend the rule that the company put out for you, first of all, if you break the rule, it's your ass.
Yeah.
Second of all, if you don't break the rule and you argue with the customer, it's still your ass. Because the customer is going to complain to corporate, and then corporate's going to be like, talk to the GM, and the GM's going to be like, hey, why are you starting stuff? Granted, the GM doesn't want to do that. The GM's a pretty relaxed guy. But if he's getting stuff handed down, he has to.
There's only so
somewhat
much he could do when there's 3 levels of people above him or her doing the same thing.
Exactly. So, that being said, it wasn't even worth it half the time.
No. Which, and again, leads back to not doing it will cause corporate to see this because there's cameras all over the theaters.
Not at door.
Not at door.
For us, anyway. I know it.
They would lose their job because corporate would see.
You're making us lose money.
Yeah. You made us lose $12. Say goodbye to your whole job.
Here's the thing, though. I heard that from RGM that you can bring in food as long as it's not glass.
Yeah.
So that's
because glass is a no-go no matter what.
Yeah.
Because it's a weapon in every capacity.
That's the rule at our theater. I would assume it translates pretty well. Granted, if you go to a different corporation, a different branded theater, out of the 3 brands, major ones, you got a 1 in 3 chance of going to one of ours. So, well, not now actually because they're closed.
We're the only ones that are closed
at the moment. Only ours are closed, so that kind of narrows it down.
Yeah.
Of which company we used to work for.
It's not really ours anymore. We don't intend on going back.
Me neither. Still,
yeah,
at heart.
Yeah, it's still, yeah. I suppose there's still people there who care about, we love, we wish the best for.
And then you got those other ones that you just want to throw
Trash.
off the building.
Trash.
Yes.
Know your place.
I want to go that far.
I do.
But
I got beef still. To this day. I wake up every morning and I go, you know that Kyle dude? There wasn't someone named Kyle. You know that Kyle dude? Fuck that guy. And I hope he rots in hell.
You know, Jake?
Actually, no. I hope he goes to heaven because I don't want to see him down there.
I can't relate, man.
I'll fight.
I wake up thankful.
Wishing I didn't.
Thankful, like, you know, you got to take it in the other way. It's like, yeah, I don't have a job there anymore, but at least I don't got to see Keith. Or...
just keep doing K names that never
or
exist.
Or
Kiara. Okay, that's fair.
You don't have to see them. Or...
did I say Kyle?
You did. Or Kevin. Or Cassandra.
Colin.
With a K. With a K.
We love Cassandra.
With a C. Yeah, we do. Speaking of which, and about customer service.
As managers.
I was mad with Cassandra with a K.
Yeah.
Because one day I get a call to customer service and these people are like, hey, we have tickets from 2 months ago. We'd like a refund, please.
Fuck no.
And I'm like, usually it's same day. First of all,
it's always same day, but higher up managers can do a day behind.
Yeah.
Not guaranteed.
And re-add tickets, tickets readmission, it's like a supplement for a refund. It's not the same, but it comes out the same.
You don't get your money back, but you get a ticket equivalent of the money you spent here.
Yeah. And then they're like, well, if you can't do a refund, can I just get a re-add? And I'm like, look, it's been 2 months, guys. these tickets. No, it wasn't even 2 months. I remember it specifically because I told them, this is for like Thanksgiving.
And what, we were in like January?
This was right before quarantine.
So February.
Okay. And I'm like, guys, you mean to tell me you didn't have an hour out of your day in the last 4 months to come do this? And then I told them there's nothing I could do. And they're like, can we see a higher up manager? And I'm like, all right. So I go to Cassandra and I'm like, hey.
With a C?
Either one.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, this is happening. She's like, oh, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, there's nothing.
And I'm like, I know. And then she's like, well, go tell him. And so I go back, and it's like a 2-minute walk from the office to customer service. I go back and tell them, and they're like, no, we want to speak with them. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay. So I go back to the office, another 2-minute walk, and I tell her, hey, they want to speak with you specifically. And she's like, why? And I told her, again, exactly the same way I said. And she's like, oh, technically they can get a Riyadh.
What?
And I'm like,
no.
So now I look like the asshole when I came and asked you what I should do? And then sure enough, she goes to them, gives them, the whole family, 4 Riyadh tickets. And I'm like, fuck me then, right?
That, like, technically they don't.
They don't.
Because it's 2 months ago and they can't prove. Oh, I guess, yeah, you're right. Because it was quarantined to Thanksgiving. So it was 4 months. So, yes, it was well past the time. So there's no way anyone should get away with that.
Exactly. And it's like...
I would stay my ground. You know, they actually told me that you could deny them to see the higher up manager. And I totally used that. I was like, no, you're gonna get the same thing from them. You're not going higher up than me. Like, I'm not gonna waste their time with your problem. That's irrelevant.
No, they never told me that.
It never went well, but boy, was it fun.
Yeah, they never told me that. Unfortunately.
The guest, believe it or not, is not always right.
Oh, no.
And any company that holds that standard, you're stupid.
That's like all companies.
Yeah, I know. You're stupid.
But like, I'd say 70% of the time, the guest was not right. They were wrong.
80.
I mean, you can argue the 10%. I definitely would. Because like, there'd be times when like the theater is cold.
Ain't too cold.
And no, like, amazingly cold. Like 57 degrees.
Like, not too chilly, but like enough to where
your nipples will be frozen.
It's pretty hot, and this is such a relaxing like area to be in.
No, but what I'm saying is like sometimes it'd be super cold, and they tell you, they do it the right way. They tell you before the movie started, hey, this movie theater is cold. And the movie theater company we worked for, being as cheap as it was, didn't bother to fix the air conditioning system.
In all the 3 years I've worked there, because it was less for you, never once was it fixed.
And how we controlled it was with these knobs that controlled the hot valves and the cold valves.
It wasn't the proper temperature. It was like the valves were a drastic change in heat. It was like pure cold or pure hot air. There was no...
You can try and balance it out, but it would not mix well.
It was pointless.
So, like, regulation is the theaters all should be at 70 degrees.
Yeah.
We had no way to mandate that. Some theaters would be 60. Some would be almost 90.
Yeah.
And it's like, in that point, the guest is right. But you'd have guests that would come after the movie. And it's like...
Can I get a refund?
It's like, you mean to tell me you waited in this room that was apparently too damn cold for you, watch the whole movie to tell me now?
Whole movie.
All
2 hours.
I get it. I'm a film major. I like to enjoy a movie. But I'm not going to do that.
My least favorite thing is, personally, I have a rule where, like, if I go see a movie with someone and for whatever reason they have to, like, step out, I'll let them know what happened while they were gone. Just real quick, like, oh, X, Y, and Z happened. This person died.
Jeff killed Dondrell.
Yeah. And then all right, cool. And I hope people hold that same standard.
I thought that was pretty a fair standard of fare, you know?
Yeah, just like
that's
real
what you
quick,
do.
just like, hey, this happened. All right, thank you. While I was gone, like using the restroom or talking to the theater staff.
Geico saves you 15% or more on car insurance. Your friends fill you in on what you missed when you went to the bathroom.
Yeah,
That's how it is.
that's how it should be. And never like, and you know, if you're like, oh, am I gonna be too loud in the theater? It's not. Just real quick, like, hey, Jeff killed Dontel.
It takes 2 seconds. Hey,
Dontel slaughtered a small country.
Vin Diesel beat Paul Walker in a race.
Jeff assassinated.
Or if it's a horror movie, be like, oh, the zombie just killed
Caleb.
Exactly. Like, it's not difficult.
And people who, like, you know, the reason why we bring this up is because the people who came out and complain after the movie are always with, like, several people.
Yeah, it's never a single person.
Not one of you could have just been like, oh, if while you're gone, I'll let you know what happened.
Oh my god, dude, this was right before I quit. I had there was this group of teenagers that went to 40X. For those of you who don't know, 40X is almost like a ride in the sense where the chairs move. There's stuff in the chairs that vibrate. There's like lighting effects, water, smells.
The best way I described it was, if you've ever been to the California Disneyland, there's that Indiana Jones ride,
right?
Where it was super bumpy and there's like the air
spiders
pockets.
Yeah.
That's the best way I described it to guests.
So,
the sights, smells. There would be seasonal changes in the room depending on if it was raining the scene. It would trickle a little bit.
It would drip on you.
Or for a more specific example, what was it? The Detective Pikachu movie.
Oh God.
When there's a part where the main character's in a laboratory and a Greninja is above him, and the spit from the Greninja's tongue lands on the back of the character's head.
It would land on the back of your head.
It would shoot a glob of water on the back of your head, so you felt like, dude, Greninja's bit.
It was good for a few movies. I saw Godzilla.
I wanted to see it for Godzilla so bad.
There was this kid in front of me. He was getting like tonal whiplash from how much the scene was moving.
It's a proper ride.
It's an experience for action movies. You don't need to watch dramas.
There's proper warnings.
Yeah, but you don't. It's only for certain movies. Anyway, so we had a remodel done over quarantine.
Half of a remodel
done. And I don't know what the fuck the people who remodeled the building did, but they rewired literally everything.
Mm-hmm.
So certain lights wouldn't go off when they're supposed to, like an exit sign wouldn't light up. We had to get that fixed.
The marquees for
the electronic marquees didn't display the movie. So if you didn't know,
they displayed it on the back side, but not the front where every guest is going to see it. Because who's going to turn around?
All it said was language selection.
Yeah, on the screens for the new theaters.
Yeah, so it's like, anyway,
trash.
So this kid comes out and he's like, "Hey, the lights are on in theater 4," and I'm like, "I'll go fix that." And I'm like, "How long has that been on?" Because they wanted a refund. They're like, "Well, could we get a refund? Because it's been on for a while." And I'm like, "How long have the lights been on?" And he's like, "We've already seen half the movie." And I'm like, come see us after customer service. Because that didn't feel right. It was so dead at the end of my career there. I knew when most theaters were starting.
Yeah.
And I get up to 40X and look at the screen. It started, the trailers ended 5 minutes ago.
Oh.
And I'm like, you little shit.
Yeah, you thought.
And I took a picture of it as evidence.
Yeah.
And then, sure enough, they came up to customer service and I told them, "You watched the whole movie, sorry." And then they wanted to speak with the GM. I opened with the GM that day. So it was me and the GM. The only two managers there. And dude, he roasted the shit out of him. And I'm like,
he stuck by your side?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Usually it doesn't happen.
Not all the time, but even he could smell BS.
Yeah. And I told him and he's like, "Really?" And then I showed him like, "Yeah, those are the kids." And he's like, "These are the kids clowning on you?" And I'm like, "I guess so." But that was fun.
Our GM more than likely will never come across this. But
if you do, we
loved
do
him.
love you. And
wholeheartedly,
fun fact,
greatness.
I loved him before it was cool.
That's fair.
When he first
'Cause
arrived
I definitely
there,
was not a super fan, but I also, like I said before, I'm a very spiteful human being.
I know when he first got there, we lost our old manager, which was a loss.
We had a GM who got promoted and left us.
So we only had the assistant general manager,
who also was a queen, and she easily deserved to be a GM of our building. But then we lost her, and then on 2 L's essentially.
we had one guy who was our father.
Yeah.
We had the mom and the dad.
Yeah.
Our dad left us to be a GM somewhere else.
So
And everyone was kind of heated.
it was on the low, and then he
'Cause-
showed up, our most recent GM.
Yeah.
He showed up in a bad scenario, but
He
did
showed
the
up
best.
in a place where everyone, if you've seen like Saving Private Ryan, you know how like the whole squad does not want the new guy.
Yeah.
Because they're so close and connected.
Yeah,
It was like
that's
that.
a pretty good representation actually.
It was just like a lot of resentment because he wasn't our dad. He was this guy that's come in
He was our
to
stepfather.
replace that, you know? I don't want to like make fun of people who have stepdads because I sure as fuck don't.
Well, that's
but-
not what I meant. Maybe.
But like
Maybe look
it's like
bad.
that.
Damn.
Like you're not my real dad.
You're my dad.
You can't tell me what to do.
I'm gonna
And
go out to a concert, smoke weed.
anyway,
I'm gonna go get high with my friends, Dad.
on the
Trash.
first day, like I heard about him. I didn't meet him till like the 3rd day he worked there. And I wore an X-Men shirt because that's the movie that was coming out.
Oh yeah.
And we did like marketing, kind of pseudo marketing, where we dress up for certain movies and just try and promote it in the theater.
Was that Phoenix?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I wore a shirt that was branded with X-Men, just to like, you know, at GameStop you see people wear like Halo shirts or COD shirts.
Yeah.
Same vein. And then he approached me and he's like, "Hey, thanks for wearing the shirt." And I'm like, "Oh, no problem. It's nice to meet you. I'm Drew." And I held my hand out. He dead ass just looked away. And I'm like,
Ouch.
okay. And then for like 2 weeks after that, everyone's like, "Oh, I hate him. He's making us do these policies." And I'm like, guys, he's just doing what he's told.
Also, a lot of the policies, not any like directly guest related policies, like those we always followed, but like keeping up certain aspects of the building were kind of pushed off to the side with our first few GMs because
Yeah.
for a building as busy as ours were, we didn't have all the time in the world to clean up every nook and cranny that existed. We were constantly busy. And when he came around was kind of on the downfall of an off season of summer. It was towards the end of summer, and then talks of just movies
Change.
dying in general, change, and then hell after Christmas time, I mean, there's COVID, so it was a constant downhill to where
Getting railed.
we had free time.
Yeah.
And we had time to clean, and he wanted us to clean, and nobody was
every-
used to it.
Every moment of free time we had, he's like, "Look, we need to spend this time to clean the building."
Which is
I
I'm not-
agree
wasn't
because the
opposed.
building looked like shit.
Yeah.
But
And it was the one time in like the last 7 years
it had like
we
a deep
weren't
ass cleaning.
busy.
But like, not everyone was on board. They're like, "I'm not a janitor. I'm here to sell popcorn." I'm like, "You're here to do whatever the fuck you're told to do."
Have you read your job description, bro?
Floor staff.
It's open enough for you to have to do this.
Yeah.
Like, no offense, but this is what you signed yourself to. There's
Sorry.
no, way around it. That's how it is.
You know, I hate to change the analogy, but like, our old GM was kind of like our cool uncle
Yeah.
that let us fuck around. I feel like our new GM was more like a father in the
He
sense.
was a proper dad.
He was like, "You're going to school. You're going to bed at 9 p.m. If you don't like it, you can go fuck yourself."
Because you live under
'Cause
my house,
you-
under my rules.
Pretty much. That's how it went.
But again, if by some grace of God you ever stumble across this,
We
I
miss
love
you.
You easily know who you are, bro.
Shout out to the Lightbringer.
Shout out to the Lightbringer.
Yeah,
Let's not talk about that.
No need to talk about the Lightbringer or where she currently resides, because I don't know where she is.
I have no idea.
It's a miss to me.
It is.
On where that flashlight.
The mystery of Lightbringer is as great as
the mystery of when
herself.
Our theater would reopen.
The mystery of when our theater would reopen. Yeah, man. I mean, hell, there was a lot of good times.
There was, and I mean, working there, it built up some resentment.
Yeah.
Just about life, and I feel like I'm thankful for it, because without that level of animosity I had towards the general public, I would have never wanted to start making stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I've wanted to do that forever, but it never gave me, I never had a
kind of a kick.
A motivation.
Kick in the pants.
Yeah, to do it. And here we are now.
Yeah, man. I'm happy for you. I really am.
Well, I'm happy for you too,
and
Jake.
I'm happy to be on this ride with you for however long I may be allowed to stay.
I mean, yeah. Low-key, Jake is a co-founder, even though his description, his job title, is voice actor.
If you're going to give me that credit.
I could change in the Discord. But, I mean...
I deserve it. No, I'm kidding.
Fair enough.
But, I mean, I was from this project altogether, not overall for Drew. I can't tell his life story. But I was a part of the first and second projects we've done.
Those were the two ones that I've actually have merit. Like, I've done video projects before these, but nothing like super serious, just kind of messing around.
As we're doing this now, it is before the third one.
It is before the third one.
I don't know if I'm a part of it yet.
You might. I feel like you will be in some way.
I didn't do any like tryouts, I guess, for lack of a better term.
We're recording this on the 4th. Auditions closed the 7th, so
I was gone on a trip.
But you're back now.
It would be pretty interesting as someone who likes seeing a lot of talent and helping others grow. I thought it'd be interesting to either step out or be a much, much smaller, kind of insignificant spot. And I want to see like other people at the forefront. Because not trying to say like, oh, I've always been high and mighty, but like the first one, it was two characters that were important and mine was one of them.
You were the lead of the two.
And the second one,
you were a pretty big supporting character.
I was a pretty big character, but I want to see more people. I think it's cool. This little community that we've built up from the first to the second one, it really makes me happy.
The ESP community.
I think it's cool seeing everyone on there, seeing all the body actors and voice actors, seeing I can't remember Homeboy's name, but like the
guy who asked us
producer.
Yeah, Spartan.
Yeah, I think I was like, that's cool having Dakota a part of it. I only say Dakota by name because he's the only person I know actually in the group.
Same.
But like having him as our music producer, it's cool. I think it's awesome.
A huge level of production quality to our last project.
Looking from 1 to 2, it made me really happy.
See, I'm not gonna lie.
And shout out to all the voice actors real quick. I love you guys.
Yeah.
Crispy, you gave me chills for some of you out there.
PNG crew.
Yeah.
Shout out, because y'all did amazing. The map, I had a map that I made, and it was kind of shit. And
that's when the producer.
And that's when the dude, he's like, hey,
hey,
no offense, I see where you're going.
This sucks. Let's move on.
I see where you're going with it, but no offense, you're kind of ass. And I'm like, you know what? You fuck it. You know, you want to build it? He's like, no. He asked me if he could build it. I'm like, dude, Forge and me are like wine and tacos. They just
toothpaste and orange juice.
You can't do it, man. I'm like mentally inept at Forge. So if you can tell, the first project we did, the map it served its purpose.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything special. But I felt like this project, PNG, the one released 3 weeks ago from this date, the map was better. The maps were better, I should say. because there was the courtroom and then there was the canyon section. And I'm super thankful that people actually care. You know, I'm so used to work environments where people just show up and
they just do their job.
There's no drive. But from like the VAs down to the BAs,
it's awesome.
Everyone cares.
It makes me super happy. For going on, but like, it's cool. It's cool to see how much everyone cares, even from like the most minuscule like
detail or something
part of it, and just how they work and how in some aspects they work together is super cool to me. And I know, and I wasn't there for like the BA stuff, but like according to you guys had a lot of fun doing the BA stuff.
It was
you were shooting the shit a good bit.
So for the BA stuff,
body actors, we had so the first shoot we did was a mess, and I felt really happy about it because we had a troll legitimately join and try and grief us, which is
awesome.
It's a weird thing to think about, but it's also cool because it's like,
are you that relevant that people actually want to join and fuck your day up?
Yeah. Like, are we like, do they think somewhere down the line we're gonna remember them? I guess.
Oh, I do.
Well, not like by name, but just the fact that it happens.
Almost by name.
Okay.
I still have the video.
You know, screw my last name.
Well, I mean, here's the thing though. It felt cool because it's like, wow, not only
like we're relevant enough.
I feel like we're meeting the checklist of things.
Next, we're gonna get hate comments on our video.
Whatever, that's gonna happen.
Regardless.
You can't please everyone, so there's no point even trying.
Only being better, moving on.
Exactly. And in terms of progression, I hate our first project.
Really?
With a passion.
Snowfall?
Yes. Because I'm gonna call myself out.
Go ahead.
That took almost a year to make.
Oh, I fully understand. And
I'll be honest. Let me explain why. So,
okay.
In May of last year, I wrote this. I was talking to Jake about it, and he's like, "Yeah, I'd be down to help you out. I want to be a voice actor eventually." Yeah. And I'm like, "Cool." So I have 2 VAs. Idea, part of the script already done, and I rewrote it to better suit Jake's character because I know Jake is a person, and I felt like his character is more realistic.
I appreciate
than it was before.
It definitely meant a lot to me. I'll say that.
But let me put this into perspective. So this is our first machinima project. I've worked with regular film projects, so I kind of underestimated how much work goes into these. I thought I'll turn my Xbox, record this, and then that's a day. And that's kind of how I operated. I got your lines in May, I think. And almost 2 days later, I got all the body acting done. And I didn't have any storyboards, just the map and the script. So it was all kind of like a Frankenstein of like mishmash scenes. And when I edited it, I was running this off an old Mac with 4 gigs RAM, trying to capture in 1080, 30 frames a second on Halo 5, which is a pretty high resolution game. And my Mac just wasn't having it. So after I recorded everything, the audio was delayed. So if I had a 10-second clip, the audio was delayed by like 6 seconds. So I lost 4 seconds of audio I could never get back. So that kind of put me in a corner where I had to inject sound, no natural sound. And I forgot what happened to the first cut. I think something in the audio got fucked. The second cut got corrupted. And after that, I was just furious. Because it's like trying to polish a turd. And then I just kind of went on a hiatus for like more than a couple months.
Thank you.
Several months. Almost 7. Until one day I'm like, you know what? I made a vow to not just ditch the project. Because I didn't want it to be that thing that I never finished.
Yeah.
Finish strong.
Get it out of the way.
Yeah. So after much frustration, I sat down, knocked it out, and said, fuck it. This is done.
Yeah.
And that night, I already started writing the script for the new one, Project 2, Persona Non Grata. And it was way better.
Yeah.
I'd like to think. But
You gotta start somewhere.
yeah.
Mind you, the entirety of that year was me pestering Drew, being like, when are you going to do it? Why is it not done yet? Why
He
are
had
you slacking?
managers ask me the same thing.
I thought it was funny.
It was pretty funny.
They have no idea what's going on. I'm like, hey, you should ask Drew when he's going to get that project done. They're like, what project? Just ask him. Just do it.
It's all right. I got revenge on her specifically.
That's fair.
So we had a manager that
Lovely.
fantastic woman. That being said, I had a talent for annoying her in a friendly way.
Talent's a bit of an understatement.
A God-given talent.
Okay.
A gift
All right.
to like
Go on.
gaslight this poor woman who was just there to do her job.
Mind you, not gaslighting in the horrendously toxic way.
No, not like
gaslighting as a fun,
like
joke-loving.
a trolling way, kind of.
Yeah.
And I love The Dark Knight. I've seen it at least 17 times.
Batman?
Yes.
Okay.
The Christopher Nolan one.
Just to be specific.
So I have almost all the Joker's lines memorized. So when we were closing together, I'd be like, it's not about the money. It's about sending a message. And I would just piss her off because she'd be like, can you shut up? And I would just be like, now you sound like my father. I hated my Oh my god, dude.
That's my favorite part because these two lines you've just said are the two she's told me. And seeing her face describing those lines, like, I hate my father. Like, obviously can't do a good visual description right now, but it's quality.
And then one day, just to piss her off, I got like almost all the floor staff to ask her, where's Harvey Dent? And at the end of the night, she just wouldn't talk to me. And I'm like, hey, what's wrong? And she's like, it was a rough day.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. So the cat's hungry.
I'm sorry, I love cats.
It's okay.
I'm gonna get one soon.
Good for you, Jim.
Yeah, man.
But anyway, it was a rough day. A lot had went down customer wise. And I'm like, hey, what's wrong? And she like starts going off on a rant like, this happened, XYZ happened, da 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 da. And then she finishes off, and I'll never forget this. She's like, and I got everyone asking me where the fuck Harvey Dent is. And I'm like, just
She
sitting
didn't
there.
know it was you.
No, she knew it was me.
Oh, okay.
That's why she was going off on me. And I just sat there with like a smug expression, trying not to
lose it.
to laugh my ass off because it was pretty funny. You know, she got people asking her that were ushers. I told them to call her over. Specifically, I said, hey, whenever you see her, be like, hey, Regina, can I ask you something really quick? You know, do it legit. And then she's a caring person, so she'll automatically be like, yeah, sure, what's up? And then I told them to drop the, have you seen Harvey Dent?
Where's Harvey Dent?
Oh my god, dude. I miss her so much.
As do I. Let me get my nails done with her.
Yeah?
Yeah. She really wants to get a pedicure, a mani-pedi with me.
Well, you guys enjoy that. I won't be joining you.
I won't. More specifically, she wants to go with my mother.
Ooh, Mrs. Jake.
Yeah, well, that's weird.
Well,
Mama Jake.
Mama
I
Jake.
guess.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
Saying Mrs. Jake.
I mean,
yeah. I'm not that kind of white, bro.
It's 2020, Jake. I think there's bigger problems.
That's not something that changes with time.
To each their own. Anyway.
It's not my own.
Fair enough. Anyway, yeah, getting asked when this project would be done constantly was just like, it wasn't depression inducing. I'm not gonna drop that card. It was just annoying because I knew how much I wanted to please Jake and the other person, And it's like, this is not what I wanted. This is not as good as it needs to be, as good as I felt it needed to be. Until I finally said, you know what? Stop acting like a child who didn't get their way. Finish it. Let people roast you if they're going to roast you. Fuck it. And guess what? I only got like one complaint generally, and that's the footsteps are too loud.
And that's when we had the idea of bringing in Dakota.
Yeah.
Putting in some background noise so it wasn't, or background music rather.
The problem with that was, for me, in that one, there wasn't really any need for music in that project. Maybe except like a high string at the climax. But it was a pretty, I don't want to say immersive piece, because God knows that's far from the truth. The intention was to just be immersive. But
okay.
Yeah, Dakota's great. If you haven't, his song is on a playlist.
It's on the channel.
It's on the channel,
yeah.
But it has its own playlist.
Are you gonna start putting like all the stuff he works on there?
Well, what I intended was like have the Machinima playlist, have the score playlist. I'll have a podcast playlist.
If we keep doing this.
If we keep doing this.
I intend to.
I would like to.
I would like to get like, personally, and of course, it could change, but like a new person to talk
alternating
to.
guests or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But well, when I finally start getting a live action, there'll be a playlist for that. Which that trench coat right over there is specifically, I bought that yesterday for the costume for my live action.
Nice. I'm happy to hear that you're working on stuff like that.
Well, I love Machinima, but live action's the goal.
Yeah.
And
there's a stepping stone for everyone.
Yeah. So,
I mean, in all fairness, the Machinimas, as they are now, are just a project. Kind of a flexing.
A fan service.
A flexing of one's skills to try and.
I wanted to apply that to the first one.
Well, I mean, you flex your muscles, people go, it could be better, and then you made it better.
Oh, no, I from the beginning, I'm like, this is shit.
Listen, it's okay.
Jake,
if it's
you know my lens
I know.
Of
That's
criticism.
Why I'm telling you now.
But
even if it's shit, not everything's perfect. It's going to be shit sometimes. And then we made it better. We got, like, what, 20 people?
In the Discord server?
Part of it right now? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
and then I got, like...
That went from 3 to 20 in 2 episodes, essentially.
I got, like, 16 auditions.
Yeah. That's
from,
cool.
like, 7 different people.
That's sick.
So, oh, dude, that video I made, I think it's at 2,000 cumulatively. So I made there's a meme going on right now with the song Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. The skateboarder dude with the cranberry juice.
Yeah.
I made a short little animation, second animation ever made, of just the main character of our next project just vibing out. And on our Instagram account, it's only at like 400 something views. But on this meme page that I sent it to, it's already at like, the last time I checked, it was like 15 something.
That's cool.
So, I mean, it's Instagram, so every view is counted. That means I could watch it like 6 times and it's 6 views.
Yeah, but
technically,
in all seriousness, even with that logic applied, say that one person watched it 6 times, that still spans out to a hefty chunk of people.
No, for real. So, granted, it's not a machinima, really. Technically, you could say it is. But it's our first thing to reach over 1,000 views, and I think it already reached 2,000.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. Who knew 45 seconds people would actually care about it?
I mean, that's a lot of meme culture these days, if we're going to be honest.
Meme culture, here's the thing.
A blessing.
I love memes. I'm not going to say I'm a meme king.
No.
But I've received...
A connoisseur.
Yeah. That being said, I want the memes to be separate.
From us?
Not from us, but just from like... Okay, so this is getting into another reason why I created Machinimas.
Okay.
We've all seen Red versus Blue. I'd like to think.
At one point, you have definitely heard the name.
Yeah. And you know, like everyone else, I loved it. I thought it was really good. Until it just started, I started noticing things about it. This is my opinion. You know, I can't wait for some diehard RBB fans to
stumble across this one
and just like community dislike this whole fucking thing.
Let me tell you why Caboose is my favorite character.
Let me tell you why Caboose is the most meta character in all of fucking cinema.
You know his name? It's the butt of a train, which means he's the butt of every joke. It's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, I just did not like how tone deaf the seasons became. Like,
I can understand that to an extent.
Like, you know how they had the freelancers, right?
Yeah, which was a kind of a cool.
It was a cool concept, but like, they would have parts of an episode where super tense. Like, let's say the city episode where they have to steal the briefcase or whatever, and then they undermine it with like comedy. And to me, it's like, you gotta know what you want. So Red versus Blue, primarily a comedy. So
action comedy.
Typically, the forefront of your series is going to be comedic.
Yes, sir.
But what they tried to do is they tried to flip it to where it was drama first, comedy second. That's what they needed to do, I should say. But instead, they had comedy still the main factor, and drama being the supplementing factor. If that makes sense. So, like, the theme of the season was supposed to be drama based, but in execution, the comedy came first. Which I get it, you don't want to alienate your audience, but it just didn't work for me.
That's fair.
And the more it went on, the more that style for them kind of persisted, to where I stopped watching around the Chorus trilogy.
I stopped watching that Chorus.
And it's like, you guys, it made me sad because I'm like, I grew up with you.
Yeah.
I loved your series, but you can't tell me that these people have been stranded here. They're in this good of a mood. You know, they're happy-go-lucky all the time. Granted, Carolina wasn't.
No.
But then
you
have the balls to tell me that they're not on a random planet. They're on a planet in the middle of a civil war. And it takes you the whole season to get there. And then when you think Civil War, you think like Star Wars in science fiction. You think Star Wars, you know, Empire versus Rebels, or
like whole federations
or just competent soldiers. Because for there to be a civil war, you have to have ideas that conflict. You have to have like leaders that are
like-minded but different when it comes down to core values.
Yeah. So I don't want to get political because I don't know anything about politics. But there needs to be certain aspects meant to have a believable civil war.
A civil war.
Yes.
One where they're fighting for the same outcome, just in their own way.
They want their own ideas to persist versus the other. Right? But there's a quote, I'm paraphrasing, but it's along the lines of, if you watch a war story and you come out of it with any idea of happiness or like, at least this happened, then the story isn't true. To war. It was in
War.
The Things They Carried, that high school book.
I never read it.
So
Not my high school.
What I took from the quote is, like in Saving Private Ryan, fantastic opening.
Yeah.
At the end though, you feel kind of happy that at least he lived, right?
Yeah.
Whereas a total war story is about complete loss. If you've seen
No one wins in war.
Yeah. Like no matter what, you're gonna lose something. Have you seen Sicario?
No.
Okay. There's a lot of that kind of feeling where no matter what, nothing good comes from war. There's nothing to be happy about, nothing to gain.
I mean, if you want to use a standpoint we both know, just look at the Fallout series. I mean, there was a war and pretty much everyone in the damn world lost.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's not as realistic, obviously.
Well, yeah, but
for
a standpoint we both know is what I'm referring to.
for Red versus Blue to see like, I get what they're trying to do. It's a comedy first, drama second, but you can't have a civil war be a comedy, to me anyway, and make it believable.
That's fair.
Like
because the identity of a war is kind of dirty, grimy.
It's dark.
It's not enjoyable.
Scary.
You're
you know,
at the fear of losing your life, your loved ones, your friends. You know, it's traumatizing. So I can understand to a point what you mean.
And then to meet like Kimball and just like, no offense, but you kind of suck.
He definitely sucks.
And then to meet like the commander dude, Doyle, I think his name was. I'm like, how do you have any control
over your people,
over anything you do? How are you in this position? You know, I'm no screenwriter. I'm not trying to say my work is good.
Just different point of views.
Yeah. But like when I wrote our last project, I wanted to try and make Abney believable as like a leader.
Yeah.
You know,
I felt like you did a relatively good job.
And it just, I don't know. It felt tone deaf for me. And then I watched part of the Shizno Paradox. Have you heard of that one?
No, sir.
I won't say it was the latest season of RVB, but it was close.
Okay.
And then they started like bringing in like gods and like chaos and stuff, and I'm like, you guys,
it's kind of strange.
You guys, it felt more like Metal Gear Survive. You know how it was just like the license of Red versus Blue on a totally new story.
Yeah.
It's like you guys are just using your fans to tell the. It did not feel like, if you looked at RVB season 1 versus that season, granted things progress over time, they change, but it's a totally different thing.
It kind of is.
And it's like, I don't watch anime, but I feel like this would be a better anime, or a better. You can't have this kind of idea in Halo.
In a game based off of war, extinction, obliteration.
Not just war and extinction, but like, if you look at what Halo is.
Okay.
If you're watching a machinima, first of all, they're soldiers at the minimum. They're in armor. They typically have weapons.
Yes.
So to me, anyway, comes down to preference in your creative styles. To me, though, I feel like a machinima should kind of relate to the game it's based on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So using the elements of the game, that should be your storytelling devices.
Okay.
I don't know how to word this correctly, but like, storytelling involves a lot of using what you have to emphasize what you're trying to tell. You know, that comes down to costuming, that comes down to setting, that comes down to shot composition, a number of things, lighting as well, that determine what you're trying to say. For the Shizno Paradox, none of that worked, so it was just like a script being acted out through Halo. And that can work for some people. I know a lot of machinimas are comedic based. That's fine.
And they're not bad.
No problem with that. But
it's your own personal beliefs, not the overall.
Yeah,
facts.
Exactly. But to me, anyway, it's just like, you should use Halo as a not only way to tell your story, but to enhance your story.
Okay.
With certain armors that tells different stories, different colors, different maps that help emphasize what you're trying to tell. And kind of lost it for me in Red versus Blue.
Understandable.
You know, when I was watching anyway, I could tell it was a script being acted out in the game. I felt no unity between script and method of storytelling.
Okay.
Like, you could have put that anywhere and it would have worked the same way to me.
Like anywhere, as in any different game?
Any media. You could have put that in Fallout. You could have put that in Killzone. Shout out to anyone who still remembers Killzone. I love Killzone too.
Cheers.
You could have put that in fucking COD, Black Ops 2. You know, like, it was so different from the media.
Source material.
It just doesn't matter to me.
Okay. And of course, not disrespecting RVB.
Oh no,
or Rooster Teeth.
no, it's just
still love them.
It's just my opinion.
It's just
again, I don't want to sound pretentious, but
difference in opinion.
Exactly.
Nothing
And if you have a different opinion, that's fine.
Totally understand.
Good for you.
To each their own.
But like for me personally,
not saying it's bad, just not good for you.
No, it's not bad. Look at the last project we did. That wouldn't work outside of Halo. Not
PNG?
as what? What'd you say?
I said PNG.
Yeah, PNG. It you can apply the alien.
Can our next one be JPEG?
Yes.
Go on. I'm sorry.
You can apply alien and racism. You know, I kind of made it to feel slightly timely, relevant to what's going on these days. Not to get political or anything, but I want you to watch it and kind of be like, hey, that's kind of like
XYZ.
Yeah, how this is going on today. If you didn't, that's fine. That's just either I'm not that good at storytelling or
there's people who enjoy the story for the story, and there's people who enjoy stories for the connections, references.
Exactly.
Ideals.
But, you know, so you can make a movie like that outside of Halo. But I feel like Halo helped tell this story.
Yeah.
Because there's aliens in Halo. There's the backstory of Halo. You know, Halo's 1 through 3, Reach 1 through 3.
Blessed be Reach.
And yeah, so that one took place before Halo 4. So that's kind of where our timeline branches off, is before Halo 4.
Are you going to run along the side of events of the other Halos and upcoming ones, or is the next few projects going to be like almost entirely separated, like a alternate kind of universe style?
So I haven't really spoke about this.
Give you a chance to if you want.
No, I know. I'm trying to figure out how to word it. I haven't really spoke about this outwardly. But the intention is I had a mini series idea when I was in high school, which is almost 3 years ago. And I've had this idea for the last 3 to 4 years. And I'm like, okay, I want to tell this story, but there's so much world building required to tell this story. I don't want one episode to be following these people and then the next episode be about building the world. It'll happen, don't get me wrong, but I'd rather make an anthology series, quote unquote series, but anthology pieces before, so it's world building. It's like the Clone Wars. You know, there's episodes, they're out of order. You watch them, you see what happens. It helps you connect and understand the world better.
Okay.
So the story is going to be in line with Fallout in the sense that there's the Halo universe and then there's a branch where that kind of differentiates. So if you've played Fallout, you know at around the 50s, that's when Fallout stops following history and becomes its own thing.
Okay.
So for us, it's going to be like that where after Halo 3, we stop following the history of Halo and kind of break off to our own thing. So it will not connect with Halo 4, Halo 5, probably not Infinite. But will we use them as mediums to tell the story? Absolutely. So, fun fact, the first project we did is pretty close to the actual timeline-wise, to the actual miniseries.
Where we break off?
Yeah. Well, it's already past that, I'm sorry. It's close to the series I want to make.
Oh, okay.
I would say...
Oh, so there's going to be a break off, and then Snowfall, and then where you want to start?
Well, So the thing, here's how it's working right now.
Give me the timeline, Chief.
As it is now, PNG is on one end of the spectrum, and Snowfall is on one end of the spectrum. PNG is closer to Halo 3. Snowfall is closer to the miniseries I'm trying to tell. So this next project we're going to make is going to happen kind of during Halo 3. So it's going to be even further back in the past.
Okay.
Than the one we just released. So I haven't said it yet, but everything machinima wise we've been making is connected. And you'll see more connections in this project we're working on. There's routes that are gonna be showcased, ideas you guys will be able to explore, because I still need a lot of characters to be introduced before I can start making the miniseries, so it makes sense.
Understandable.
And this next project, you'll meet an extremely important character later on down the line. And that'll be crucial to one of the main characters I'm going to have in the miniseries.
Okay.
And if all goes like I originally intended, that character should have one of the more interesting arcs of the
overarching story you want to tell.
Of the main, not only the overarching story, but our main cast of people we're going to have.
Okay.
Because the miniseries is going to focus around 4 people.
Oh.
At the time, right now.
This is all new to me too. It's fun.
Anyway, I showed you my book, and we talked about...
Yeah, but that was over a year ago.
You're not wrong. But...
I don't have that book on me.
Fair enough.
I'm just a voice actor.
But... so there's going to be about 4 different people. I'm not going to go into plot specifics, because that's at liberty to change, obviously.
Yeah.
But...
Just the skeleton of it all.
Yeah. But at the moment, that character, who's going to be influenced directly by a new character you're going to meet in this upcoming project, should be the coolest one.
I look forward to it. To potentially working on it. If I don't, it is what it is.
Well, the way I see this whole channel is, I'm going to go until it's it. You know? Until it's no longer either feasible or just not what I want to do anymore.
I can respect it.
Because I'm trying to make it I'm a film major, and as you know, the odds are against me heavily. If you're going into film, I wish you the best of luck, because that's a lot of it, what it boils down to.
Tough place to fight.
You can have the talent, but if you don't have the business understanding, the social understanding, you're not going to make it. You need 4 aspects. I forget what the 4th one is. That
good one.
Good foreshadowing there. But you need a good understanding of all 4 to have a chance of making it. I guess that says I'm kind of fucked, huh? But yeah. So I'm a junior right now. So I got some more time to work on these projects. But if I do get like an actual job in the film industry, I love y'all, but I'm probably gonna dip.
Wow.
You know, or at least make this a hobby. Right now,
I feel like that's a healthy way to put what this is currently. It's a hobby.
Yeah.
A nice little portfolio for everyone who worked on to kind of show off what they've done.
And don't get me wrong, if this does go anywhere, I have plans to keep it going.
Really?
Like that mini-series?
Yeah.
We're
First of mini?
We're really far from getting there. I'd say we need at least another 6 machinimas.
I'm intrigued.
Before,
you got me.
Before we can start the mini-series.
Hey man, I'm ready to go.
Well, here's the thing.
We need all my lines now. What do you need?
We need for the mini-series, we need a bunch of people to voice, first of all.
Yeah.
We need a lot of voice actors. And I don't want to, no offense, but I don't want to work that hard without an audience.
Understandable.
Because, not saying I'm not passionate about it, but it's not the smartest thing to do. I'd rather make anthology pieces, build and garner an audience from that, And then for those of you that stick around, you know, it's something to look forward to.
I'm looking forward.
I am too. But, you know, for none of you that have stuck around for the last hour and 50 minutes,
It's really been 2 hours.
appreciate it.
That's sick.
Yeah. Is there anything else? Do I have anything written down, Jake? Because I talked about. I mean, I'm pretty much.
I mean, shit, man.
What do you want to talk about, Jake? Send us off on something interesting.
You really put me on the spot.
Yeah, that was the point.
Fuck Christ. Damn. Did you know that Drew is secretly a furry?
Oh, wow. You throwing that one out. Okay, that is fake news.
I
I do not partake in...
If anything, that's just getting cut out.
Oh, no, it's not. I'll leave it in, because what's more suspicious? You telling the world I'm a furry, or you saying that in public and then I secretly deleting it?
That's fair.
So
you want to leave it up to a mystery?
it's not
Why
a
don't we
mystery.
just make all this just like some ARG, just some wild ARG?
Here's the thing. I know in my heart I'm not a furry. So if you guys want to speculate,
In my heart of hearts.
that's up to you. More content, more publicity. That's fine.
Did you know that
He
when you're
just-
summoning Ultimate Blue Eyes White Dragon, it's actually really not worth it?
Yeah, just keep summoning blue eyes with Eyes of the Forgiving Maiden.
Yeah.
Or what's the stone? I forget.
A White Stone of
White,
Legend?
yeah, White Stone.
Or you get Azure Eyes, and it summons a Blue Eyes out of your graveyard at the
Yeah.
start of every turn.
But Majestic Star Dragon is better.
Yeah, but it's not Blue Eyes. Plus, Maiden's a cutie.
She's okay. I love blue
Maiden's
eyes.
a cutie.
I love blue eyes. My first big dragon card was Red Eyes Black,
Alright.
so I'm kind
Understandable. You're
I'm-
biased.
of slightly biased.
That's understandable.
Granted, Red Eyes Black is super edgy.
Yeah, especially Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon.
Yeah, like if you want to name a Yu-Gi-Oh card that's most like an OC, it's probably Red
It's
Eyes
a Red
Black.
Eyes Black Dragon.
So, that being said, I've switched. I'm no longer a fanboy of Red Eyes Black. I appreciate him for what he is.
Yeah.
Good card.
Yeah.
But I prefer Majestic Star. Dragon.
I am biased in dragons in general because my two favorite characters, both signature
If you say Dark
cards-
Magician.
No. My two favorite characters, their signature cards are dragons. So you got Kaiba with the blue eyes, which I love Kaiba. Kaiba is easily the best character in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Fucking Kaiba.
In all honesty, his deck beats every deck in the anime except for Pegasus, the Toon deck, because Toons are
Broken.
horrendously awful to play against. But he beats every deck. Now, hear me out. The other Yu-Gi-Ohs, maybe not the most enjoyable or best, but GX was one of my personal favorites. But Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds, when they're
Slapped.
dueling on the motorcycles, first off, as a kid, it blew my goddamn mind. Second off, Akiza, Red Eyes, no, not Red Eyes, sorry, Black Rose Dragon. Oh my god! How cool is that? Black Rose Dragon is the coolest styled dragon in my personal opinion. And mind you, I might be biased when it comes to Black Rose Dragon, but you summon Black Rose Dragon, you destroy everything on the field. And Akiza's cute as hell.
Yeah, Majestic Star Dragon almost is the same thing.
Yeah,
But it's cooler.
but Black Rose is easier to get off.
Yeah, but Majestic Star Dragon looks cooler.
Yeah, but Black Rose is easier to get off.
Majestic Star Dragon has more stars. Therefore, it's a better card.
That doesn't equate whatsoever.
When I was a kid, when I unpackaged that, I got it from a booster pack, so I was pretty surprised.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's kind of lucky.
it was. I was like 10 and I almost busted a nut with how
Before
many.
I knew
I've
what a
never
nut-
seen a card with that many stars. And I'm like, this must be the best card in the game. It's got like 10 stars on it.
Therefore, Exodia.
Dude, fun fact.
Yes.
In elementary school, I used to play all the games. I have a Bakugan right here.
Dude, real shit?
Anja.
We should have a Bakugan battle.
Dude, bet. But I was
I stole some from the theater when we had the Bakugan screening.
Really?
I took the whole bag because no one came for it, and the people who came didn't take the promotional Bakugans.
That's unfortunate.
So I put them all in the bag and I took them home, and I still have them.
See, I used to play Bakugan. Me and my friends started the Beyblade Club at elementary school, so
that's so cool.
We'd rip it in the library. We had like tourneys with Beyblades.
Don't say that. That sounds lame. No.
We did though.
You ripped it.
We did, but we also played Yu-Gi-Oh at lunch. And let me tell you, the best day in my Yu-Gi-Oh career. I know Egyptian gods are kind of not ideal.
Banned.
Not banned, but they're just not good.
I mean, they're banned.
Sliffer's banned.
They're all banned.
I thought the blue one wasn't banned.
I'm pretty sure they're all banned.
I don't think
Obelisk, the Tormentor?
Yeah. No. Anyway, this little kid dropped an obelisk on me.
Damn.
And I'm like,
tormented you.
I'm like, I was like 10, and I didn't watch the anime. Sorry, but I had the cards, so I didn't know what the fuck this thing was. He just dropped on my face. He's like, yeah, that's my Egyptian god, and I'm like, I don't have any god cards, but I had magical thorn. And so, keep in mind, this was elementary school, so elementary school playground rules.
Playground rules.
So at all elementary,
can make up the most closest sounding rule works.
At our elementary school, I know how to play the game now, but the rule was you can sacrifice.
We should duel sometime.
We should. You can sacrifice your cards in the graveyard to pull the best card from your hand. It was like a speedrun of Yu-Gi-Oh, basically. And Magical Thorn means however many cards you have in the graveyard, inflict 500 direct health points. And because this kid, all he wanted to do was flex his Egyptian god, had like half his deck in the fucking graveyard. And so I flipped my Magical, I'm like, now my trap card. Flipped Magical Thorn. I had like 4,000 life points. He did some damage to me. He was at full. He lost. Instantly.
Huh.
And did I win correctly?
No.
Probably not.
No.
Because, well, here's the thing. You can, the way we were playing, you could say I did.
Playground rules.
Because, like, the card says how many cards are in your opponent's graveyard, inflict 500 life points. This kid sacrificed half his fucking deck to pull his Egyptian god card. So we had 20 cards in the graveyard. 20 times 5, 100. Now add a 0 to that. 2 zeros to that, I'm sorry. 10,000. If not
dead.
Is that 10,000 or am I just stupid? I'm thinking 100,000. Because 500 times, yeah. He was beyond gone.
Yes.
So
I don't think any amount of cards could get.
No, and he didn't have any anti-trap cards because all he wanted was an Egyptian god card.
Yeah, man.
So
see, that's also why you don't do Ultimate Blue Eyes because that shit gets you get shut down with one card.
Here's the thing. I wanna before we get off this topic, I need to leave a note.
Be done.
I want to leave a note
like
to that kid that pulled an Egyptian god card on me.
Fuck you.
In 5th grade. I hope you hear this. You can go fuck yourself. Because that was not cool, dude.
Fuck you.
I get it. You wanted to flex. You took that from your brother's fucking collectible book. But that's just fucking dirty. That's like playing Black Ops 2 1v1 with an MSMC. It's just unsportsmanlike. You know what I mean? It's unsportsmanlike. You know, it's not cheating because it's in the game.
Yeah, but it's just not cool. It's
not respectable. You know, if you won, you're like, yeah, you won, but you had a god card. Vin Diesel would say winning's winning, but
where's your movies now, dickhead?
Sorry, you gotta take it over by fucking Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I'm kidding.
Granted, I love Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Babysitter.
Finn Dorsal.
Fucking Iron Giant.
There was a video game I played where there was a boss that was supposed to be one of Vin Diesel's movie characters, and his name was Finn Dorsal, and he was a shark. Yeah.
In what movie was Vin Diesel a shark?
No. It was his character Riddick from The Chronicles of Riddick.
Okay.
And what was that movie? It was like a horror movie. It was like pitch dark or pitch black.
That's Riddick.
Is it still part of
It's
Riddick?
still Riddick.
I know it's still Riddick
Because he wears the glasses.
I don't know if it's
he
part
wears
of...
the goggles so he can.
I just didn't know if that was part of
Yeah, it's Riddick.
the Chronicles of Riddick.
I haven't seen Riddick before, but I've heard enough, and I know enough about Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
I think I know.
Yeah, so the character was designed, the shark was designed like that, and his name was Finn Dorsal. Maybe I should have said that instead of putting us on a Yu-Gi-Oh card tangent.
So, Jake, I love Vin Diesel. He's one of my favorite.
We're still going.
Well, here's the thing. Vin Diesel is he's like George Lopez. There's not much he's in that is amazing, but you love him because he's Vin Diesel. Like, aside from Spare Parts, I can't think of any movie where George Lopez is amazing. But I love him because he's George Lopez. That being said, I want to start a Vin Diesel shrine.
What?
I want to start a Vin Diesel shrine.
Why?
Okay.
I'll agree if I could have a picture of Finn Dorsal.
Here's why. He is everything you want to be in life.
Bald?
No, you got to look at it from a different standpoint. He gets paid mountains of money
Yes.
to show up.
Yes.
Can you not think of any other?
Robert Downey Jr.
But he's Robert. He actually has talent. Like, can you imagine being like Vin Diesel or Tom Cruise?
Or Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah, and just show up and you get paid for it. Like, how cool is that? Granted, your work sucks, and when you die, Rep Paul Walker. He was in Joyride. That was a good movie. But, you know, the Fast fans, the Fast fandom,
Yeah.
they'll cry for it, but, you know, it's not going to be like if Tom Hanks dies. You know, if Tom Hanks dies,
I'll be a little burned when Tom Hanks dies.
a lot of people are going to be.
Is he still quarantined in Australia?
I don't think so.
I don't
But
remember.
everyone's going to feel it. Like when David Bowie died, everyone felt it.
Ah,
Because his reach is just...
Michael Jackson when
Exactly.
we were younger.
Vin Diesel, his reach is far more limited.
That's understandable.
If you don't like action movies, you probably...
Is that disrespectful?
No. That's his fucking typecast.
Yeah, I suppose he did get kind of stuck in that spot. But I mean, he has fun.
He
And
does.
He gets paid a lot.
Don't get me wrong.
So,
Like, I loved him in Saving Private Ryan.
to each their own.
Like, he was one of my favorite characters.
I loved him in Riddick.
I never seen Riddick.
The Pitch Black is it's my favorite sci-fi horror movie.
Vin Diesel's the kind of guy...
Or Perfect Dark. One of the two. Something like that.
Vin Diesel's the kind of guy you don't expect to see places, but you appreciate him
When you see him.
when you see... Like, in The Iron Giant. I love him in The Iron Giant. In Guardians of the Galaxy, granted, not one of my favorite movies of all time, but as Groot, he slaps.
Yeah. Which, also surprising you brought it up. It took me ages to learn that it was actually Vin Diesel.
He was, this might be a rumor, but it's from what I heard.
Dorsal.
I heard Vin Diesel was the highest paid actor in that movie.
That's kind of sad.
But isn't that what you strive to be in life, Jake?
I suppose, but like, I mean, not to like disrespect the others, but like
Zoe Saldana is a
her
top tier actor.
and
actress.
Chris Pratt, was it?
Yeah.
They're like, at the time, they were the most well known
Of the group, yeah.
and they're actively shown on screen.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, now I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Dave
but
Bautista.
Dave Bautista.
He had a great
Love
year
him.
last year.
I love Dave Bautista. He's one of my favorite actors of all time now. But-
Really?
Yeah, and like no BS. I genuinely love his work and everything I've seen.
What movie made you think of that?
It was Hotel Artemis.
Fair enough.
Because seeing him just in general made me so happy, and I just loved almost all of his scenes were like crisp to me. I think Bautista's an amazing actor. Regardless, for the two of the most well-known actors who are physically shown on screen to be paid less than
a voice actor,
Finn Dorsal saying "I am Gru," that's kind of messed up.
It's what I heard. Is it true? I don't know.
That's fair. You did say it was a rumor, but
I can
that's still
believe it.
kind of messed up.
Dude, I'm just waiting for the Avatar sequel. You know,
The Blue People?
yeah, the one we were supposed to get in 2012
You mean the one that we were supposed to have like
this year?
4 years ago? And
And then it got pushed back to
It's got
2018.
pushed
Then it got
back
pushed
more
back to
than
2020. Then it got pushed back to 2021. Then 2022.
it's been pushed back more than Cyberpunk has.
Pretty much. And I'm not gonna say I'm more excited for it than Cyberpunk, but I've been waiting longer.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's like, tell me why. Fuck, what's his name? Sam Worthington. I felt was underrated as fuck, and he never got a good movie to shine.
That's fair.
Like Wrath of the Titans or Clash of the Titans. Sorry.
Clash of the Titans.
Not a good movie,
No.
but he tried his best. Avatar. Good technology, average story. He tried his best. Fucking, he made Black Ops.
Really?
To me, he made Black Ops.
Okay.
Mason would not be the same if it wasn't Sam Worthington.
The numbers, Mason.
You cannot have him say the fucking numbers and it not be Sam Worthington.
That's fair. If Mason isn't in the next Black Ops, Cold War specifically, I'm rioting.
Not only that, but if it's not Sam Worthington,
I'm rioting.
if they pull some shit like they did with Hudson in Black Ops 2, where it's just a different guy.
Yeah.
Hudson sounded badass in Black Ops 1.
I will never forget, and it's been like part of meme culture right now, but like when Mason remembers where the Rezolka is, and he goes, "Where? Cuba," and then Hudson just puts the glasses on. Yeah, it's so cool. I'll never forget that.
You're still inside Hudson. What the fuck are you doing? Like, he's in the middle of Washington D.C. Here's that. Before he gets on the helicopter, before he tells the president of the United States, he's like, "Better put these on now." That just goes to show you how badass of a character Hudson
is. Yeah. This was immediately after him fucking up that interrogation room.
Yeah, and he's like, "Fuck it, we lost. You can't remember, you failed." Did you know I saw a video by the Act Man? And do you know the Act Man?
Yeah, I do.
I never noticed this, but you remember when you're interrogating that guy in Kowloon, the Rain Asian man?
Yeah.
And Hudson's like, "Say this and we'll guarantee your safety."
Yeah.
He says that in the interrogation room before you play that mission.
Yeah.
I never connected the dots that it was Hudson.
That's okay.
And I saw that video and I'm like, wow. I thought I was a Black Ops fan.
Clearly not.
Clearly I'm lacking.
I feel like we might have gone a little bit too long.
7 minutes too long, probably.
7?
Well, have you seen I've seen podcasts that are like
an hour,
6 hours long.
Oh well, I just didn't want this to be too long.
I agree.
Should we call it here? I felt like this was fun. I really liked this.
I just didn't know when a good stopping point was because it just kind of kept the chemistry. I thought was top tier.
Yeah, but it's one of those things of like when we talk about everything, we run out of subjects. And if we want to do this again, which even if no one shows up, I still find joy in doing this. This is still fun.
The one view on this video will be for me.
It'll be me. I'll fall asleep to this tonight. Not tonight, but
that's kind of creepy, falling asleep to your own voice.
Why not? I think I sound great.
Well, that's why you're the voice actor here, Jake.
It may be a little bit TMI, but when I was younger, I did have someone admit to masturbating to my voice.
I think that's a good place to call it.
You could ask Dakota if you want confirmation on that.
That is a good... We'll save that for
Dakota wasn't the one who did it, I promise.
We'll save that for next time, because that sounds like a story and a half.
Okay. Let's.
Have you seen Top Gear?
I think we're done.
Hold on, before
we're going back into this.
No. This is my final.
Okay.
Have you seen Top Gear before?
No, sir.
Okay, at the end of every show, they say, "On that bombshell."
On that bombshell.
On that bombshell, and I'm gonna end it here.
On that
bombshell. Thanks for joining us for the last 2 hours, 9 minutes, almost exactly.
Yeah, but dude, it's sick.
For none of you that are still here, I wish you the best of nights.
Yeah, man. Have a good night's sleep.
We'll see you.
Whenever we do it again.
Because I don't know if anyone's gonna be watching.
We hate you too.